You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome to Talks Honest. You are tuned into iLive Radio UK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and this is a platform and an opportunity for you to discuss topics never spoken but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting 0208 638 8503 or www.uk.iliveradio.com.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Joining me on today's show is my special guest, Tamara, Gabriel, aka Vander, Peter, Pierre. Welcome to Talks Honest.
Well, thank you, Miss Law, for having me here. I'm happy and honored to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir. This gentleman is a singer, a songwriter, author, poet, actor, presenter, voiceover artist, and founder and CEO of a non-for-profit charity, From Rehab to Life Foundation.
Yes, by the grace of God.
Yes, indeed. Now, I'd like you to take us back and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born on a beautiful mountainously and green island called Dominica, and my parents left me when I was 3 years of age, and I lived with my grandmother, who raised me till the age of 7. I lived like a prince back home, and when I came over here at the age of 7 with my brother Glenn, my younger brother, and my sister Verena, who was born after me, everything changed. It felt like I descended into hell, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the contrast was so vast. And first of all, I noticed I said, what's all these factories doing here? They said that, I said, why have they got curtains? And they said, no, they're not factories, they're where people live. But back home, you see, factories had chimneys, you know.
Yes, indeed.
And the underground, it sort of freaked me out, you know, and looking into darkness, you know, and it was very strange. And the color, there was no color, I noticed that. The birds were all gray and, you know, pigeon. You know, saw a brown thrush, and it was exciting to see something different.
Something of color.
Yeah, it wasn't all bad, you know, at least we had a house to go to. And when I got home to the house with my grandma and siblings, I asked my mother, who greeted us, well, where's the maid? And she said, there's no maids here, son. And, so I wondered how did they cope, you know, with the housework and so on. Well, the answer came the following week when I was given a dust room. Yeah, it started very quickly from the age of 7.
Okay.
I was taught to change my sister's nappies, my baby sister's nappies.
So it's quite a rude awakening for you. You grew up.
It was a big, the contrast was so immense. You know, from one moment living carefree, the next moment I've got all these responsibilities. On top of that, I began to get beaten by my father on a daily basis, which was very, very horrific, actually, barbaric. And so from very early on, I living a life of joy, now I'm living a life of fear.
Yeah.
I'm living a life of love, now I'm living a life filled with hate. This is what I felt. I didn't feel loved at all, you know, and I did my best, you know, at home. I did what I was told because I was afraid of getting beaten. If I didn't, I was getting beaten for nothing anyway.
Oh, wow.
So to get beat for something, when I say getting beaten for nothing, I could have maybe a bit of sleep in my eyes, and that could warrant a beating.
Oh, really?
You know, I could be home 5 minutes late, and that's warrants a beating. You know, this is how fine the line was. I was always walking around in eggshells and in fear, which really the doctor diagnosed that there was something wrong with me, actually. And he said, what's wrong with this boy? But I wasn't going to tell him I'm getting beaten every day.
Okay,
doctor.
yes.
But he prescribed nerve tablets for me. And which I now understand today, these type of nerve tablets is a form of antidepressants and also things to strengthen your nerves at the same time and so on. I don't know if it helped me, but school was my great escape. I loved learning.
Yeah.
And I won my first singing competition at the age of 7, and I became the lead singer of a band at the age of 12.
Where did you go to school? Sorry to cut you.
I went to St. John the Baptist in Hackney. That was the primary school I went to.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to Cardinal Pole. They used to be in Homerton opposite Hackney Hospital, but now they've moved to Morning Lane, which is still in Hackney.
All right. So you grew up in Hackney, basically?
I did, yes. We had 2 houses, actually, by Wells Street Common and Victoria Park there. It was very nice.
Nice and green.
Nice and green, and the park, I opened my back gate.
And you're literally there.
Not literally there, we're in there. Didn't have to cross the road. You just opened the back gate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stepped in the Wells Street Common. Yeah.
That was your brightness, yeah?
Yeah,
that brought brightness into your life.
Groombridge Road, and that common used to beckon me, say, come on, when you come into play, I said, I've got work to do. I've just gotten some fish for my mom, and I've got to season it. And then after that, I've got to cook some food for my siblings. And I don't know, maybe it'd be tomorrow, whenever.
Responsibilities, right?
That's right.
So completely different lifestyle for what you lived as a child in the Caribbean.
Yes, absolutely.
Quite a culture shock for you.
A big culture shock. We had to face racism. You know, I didn't know when someone called me nigger and walked that he was insulting me until a little Italian friend of mine, great footballer, he was a great striker, he said to me, they're taking the mick out of you. And I said, what's the mick? You know, because I'm learning.
Yeah, learning as you go along. Yeah.
He says, you know, they're insulting you and this and that. And so I started fighting nearly every day. And then there were racist gangs when I used to go home from school, attack me with knives and all sorts of things. It's a good thing I was pretty good at defending myself. And I fought against those fellas.
So it was a constant battle. I didn't
just run. I fought until, well, you know, if they call for reinforcement, then I start running. You know, and but that's how it was. So I was watching out for them. I'm watching out for my dad. I know I'm going to get a beating when I get home because he didn't beat me last night, and he said, you know, and then I've got the work to do, domestic chores, and then I've got my schoolwork to do as well. Yes, God only knows, but God is great, and He gave me the strength and whatever it took to go through that period, and which was a period of silence. Didn't talk about my feelings. You know, I couldn't say I feel sick. Can I have the day off school? One day I ended up in hospital because the teacher said that I was very unwell. She said, what's the matter? I said, I'm okay, man. She says, we're going to the sick bay. And the woman leapt up when she read the thermometer. She says, you're on death's doorstep.
Oh, wow.
You know, and, you know, and I was in hospital for about a week, and then I was taken home. But see, these things I couldn't tell my parents. I was too fearful. They're, oh, you're trying to escape school, bang, hold this. You know, not so much my mother, but my father.
Very abusive. Yeah,
very, very, very violent, man. And violent to my mother as well, which wasn't nice to see, you know, and hear, you know, the glass shattering, the screams of my mother and this and that. So if she wasn't screaming, it was me who was doing the screaming.
It's quite traumatic.
Yes, and to witness my mother going to hospital from aspirin overdoses, time and time again, and you know, and have to get her arm stitched up because of some fracas with the old man. The man was crazy. I said, Daddy, I love you, while he was beating me. I said, why are you beating me? And I just saw some evil in his eyes. Like the man was demonic, like he was possessed. And he hit me even harder and worse, and I pissed myself. I pissed my pants. The pain, it cut through me so terribly. It cut through my nervous system and bladder, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't even hold my water. You know, and this is how it was for me as a child. And yet I achieved well at school.
You have done a great deal. I was looking at your history and I'm like, wow. And to learn what you went through as a youth, it's quite an eye-opener. And, you know, some people may say that because their struggle is hard, there's no room for anything else. Sometimes people may use it as an excuse not to progress. But you are definitely not one of those people. That gave you the drive to go and do the many things that you have done.
Absolutely. But also, it also drove me to a place of self-destruction as well. At the same time, although I knew the right things, I was always sabotaging my opportunities, sabotaging.
Why do you think that you were doing that?
Because I lost love of self. You know, I became depressed from an earlier age. You know, and depression is something when turned inwards. You start to hate yourself, yourself for being here. Hate yourself for being with these parents. Hate yourself for, you know what I mean? For being born. You know what I mean?
You just like everything about yourself,
You know what I mean? I said, man, you know what I mean? Like I love myself, but then I just hate everything about it, if you know what I'm saying. There was still a deep love somewhere, but somehow it was coated with all this anger and resentment, fear and regret and, you know, guilt and shame.
So tell me, at what point did that change for you? Because obviously you went through a lot. You were going through a lot.
Yeah.
What was your turning point?
Well, my turning point actually was when I got on my knees in Wandsworth Prison.
Okay.
And I confessed to God. I said, God, I'm an alcoholic drug addict as well as a criminal, you know, and I need help. Please help me. I'm homeless. I'm estranged from my family, my friends. I've got no money. I don't know what I'm going to do, you know, and I'm sorry for taking so long to call you, because I thought I could handle it all by myself.
Yeah, you just thought you could do it.
It was too much to handle because I handled everything as a child. So now I'm a big man. I can handle depression. I can handle addiction. I can handle, you know, my dishonest ways. I can do it all by myself.
So you really looked inside.
Yes, I really did. And as I got up from the floor in the prison cell to sit on that little single bed in a single cell, because I didn't like sharing cells with anybody, a prison officer lifted the flap of the door and said, would you like to go to an AA meeting? I said, what's that, to do with cars? AA, recovery? He said, no, he says it's to do with people with alcoholic problem.
Yes.
I said, thank you, God. Yes, sir, please put my name down. And I went to that meeting, and the honesty that that was presented to me there was overwhelming, and I was also overwhelmed by the man who took his time from AA fellowship to come to the prison to chair the meeting and so on. And so I was inspired to get more honest with myself, and I opened up. I asked for help, which I had never asked for help before, because that's what led me down to the road of crime actually, when I was 16, when my father threw me out the house. And so I was honest now, and I asked the social services for help. And they gave me a place in rehab. They financed me to a rehab called St. Luke's. I was told by my fellow prisoners that St. Luke's is like another prison. And it's the most disciplined rehab in the UK.
Okay.
No nonsense. And
put the fear of God in you there, didn't they?
Yeah. So you'll be going from one prison to another. And I said to my fellow inmate, I said, I know that they're going to give me the keys to my freedom, so I don't mind having to go through that.
Yeah.
You know, and which was really, I was determined to get well, and that's what I did. In fact, I became so honest that I asked for help. I asked for someone to accompany me to the rehab from my release from prison.
Okay.
Because I always used to turn right towards where the off license were.
Okay.
Every time I was released from these short, sharp sentences for shoplifting, for trying to get money to buy drugs and all that sort of thing, crack and cocaine, so on. And so the AA man said to me, he'll meet me, but my date was put forward a bit, so I was accompanied by a prison drug worker called Michael. And he accompanied me all the way to rehab.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which made a world of a difference. That's why I'm here today. So I'd never underestimate that work that man did that day by accompanying me to rehab. It led me to, was it iLive Radio? Yes,
yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, you have so many things that you do.
Yes.
You are so multi-talented. I'm like, when I read the list, it's like, wow, so many wow factors. And I don't even know the facts.
Yeah.
But just knowing what you have done, based on what you've just told me, makes that even more phenomenal. I mean, you've aspired to such great things. And I don't even know the half of what you've done.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit let's talk about the book.
The book, yes. From Rehab to Life.
Yes, indeed.
We're live on iLive Radio. And, from Rehab to Life, this book came along because I was writing a little synopsis of my life for the album entitled From Rehab to Life.
Yes, indeed.
And that album, I started writing the songs for that album while I was in rehab. And recorded about 3 or 4 tracks while I was still in rehab through the generosity of people in the AA fellowship who heard my plight when I shared at AA meetings, that I'm stricken with poverty, I don't know what to do, and I need to
You were being really
songs.
Open and honest, weren't you?
Yes, and the man said, I'll finance the studio session for you, and an engineer, I'll supply that as well, and all paid for. Just go along and do your thing in that studio in Hammersmith. And I did, and we had a tune called The Walk of Shame. Yeah, that was the first song on the From Rehab to Life album.
Yeah.
And so that synopsis just became a book. I couldn't stop writing.
Oh, really?
I couldn't stop writing. I wrote for 7 months solid, from about 2 o'clock in the morning till 12, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I wrote through the night, through the dawn, and through the day. Did
you feel like, I know you spent a lot of time writing, did you feel that the book was easy to write for you because of what it was about? Or would you say that at times you struggled with it?
I never struggled with it. I was driven.
Excellent.
It was like I was overflowing with lyrics. In fact, the book is only about half the book. It was, this book has been, how could you say, what's that word? We went through it so many times. Proofread. It was proofread right down to about half of the content, or a third even. Of
Oh, really?
Yes, really and truly. I couldn't stop writing. I saw writing on my ceiling, on my walls, on my floors, on my table, on my cups, on my food. I saw, like my handwriting was everywhere. I just couldn't stop writing. I kept writing. And the thing is, I'm gifted as a writer. As a matter of fact, it's a gift of mine. I can just write. about anything. We're practically about
no writer's block for you then.
No, I've got no sort of inhibitions about about writing.
It just naturally flows.
Yes, you asked me to write about I don't know. I'll write you a synopsis on I don't know.
I like that.
If you want 3,000 words, I'll give you 3,000 or 5,000, whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So with regards to your book, how can your book be sourced?
Our book can be sourced from Amazon.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a link that you'd like to share with anyone?
Links, I don't know. You just go to Amazon and type in From Rehab to Life.
Okay.
And they'll provide you with a copy.
Excellent.
So hardback or paperback or what else? Do we have it in, we also got it in, no, we haven't got it in audio form, but that's a form that I'd like to do it in.
So something in the near future. Look out for the possible audiobook coming its way to you soonish. Now tell me, the album.
Yes, the album.
Talk about this album, because you did touch on it just now.
Well, From Rehab to Life, it was supposed to have been launched with this book.
Yes.
But because of certain legal challenges that came up, regarding royalties for my workers, there were claims being made for 100%, 50%, 70, 80% royalties for my work. So, because I trusted some brothers to actually register my tracks.
Right.
And they registered everything in their favor, leaving me the crumbs. Well, in the case of 100%, they left me nothing there. And they didn't write nothing, they didn't produce
you
nothing,
the artist.
they didn't supply any musicians or anything, like they didn't pay for anything more than, well, I give them credit that they spent £250 on a remastering of the album, which some people said it didn't really need, but anyway. But whereas we spent many thousands of pounds on that album over a period of years. Because we didn't have the money to just do it,
just have like that money ready available. Yeah.
So it took us years,
How was that journey for you, though? Obviously, like you said, you lost out with regards to that, because obviously someone tried to take what you had and what you produced.
Well, I haven't lost out. I'll just say that I've learned, from that, and but also I've learned to keep on loving and keep on forgiving, and to keep on sending out love, light, and healing.
Yes.
And to keep shining. You know what I'm saying? And to see that as an opportunity and a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And so therefore now we're at the stage where in fact we're nearing the process where we'll be able to release our album.
Okay.
Which was meant to have been released alongside the book. And it has been painful, I must say. And I was tempted to wrath, so to speak, but I vowed not to go down that road. And thank God I had the strength, just to, that availed me nothing anyway. So we have to be honest and take responsibility. If I trust someone to do something and they don't do it correctly, then, I played my part.
Yeah, indeed, yes. So you're partly to blame, so to speak.
Yes. So that book, that album will be coming out ASAP.
Okay, we look forward to hearing that album.
However, we do have another album called Ex-Gangsters Odyssey, which was released couple of years ago. In fact, it's been taken off of YouTube and the online music platforms, and I'm waiting for it to be reinstalled on there, so to speak. The fact it was taken off was because I said to them, brothers, if this is going for free on YouTube, no one's going to buy it.
Of course not.
So please take it down. And the argument or the reasoning was, well, if I take it down from there, they say that it'll be taken off of all the other platforms as well, which I found it a bit strange. But anyway, eventually it got done and that's taken about 2 years now, and just around 2 years.
It's a system, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to re-enter or reinstall it online again.
Okay. You have some poetry, Walk of Shame. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, the walk of shame came when you walked out on me, and I was left all alone in despair and misery. Yes, the walk of shame, that happened, a real life thing. I was going out with a lady at the time, and she sat in the front room sipping red wine, and I said, well, I must go and get some ingredients for the meal that I was cooking, and in fact, I even got some money from her as well, actually, towards it. And did I? Or was it my money? I think, no, it was my money. I beg your pardon. But she helped to finance my drug habit at times, without knowing.
Okay.
You know, and anyway, so I went off, pretended to get some ingredients, came back, said, I couldn't find the ingredients I needed. But so then I went into the bathroom and went on the crack pipe.
Okay.
And on the crack pipe, an hour can go like in 5 minutes. So,
wow.
So I thought I was in there for a very short time, but by the time I got out the bathroom, the front door was open and she was gone, and I never saw her again to this day. And hence, when I remembered that in rehab, I wrote the Walk of Shame, because I left the flat and I walked around in shame for a while. You know, and in the rain as well at the time.
That was a real walk of shame in the rain, right?
Yes, indeed.
There's another piece you did, Every Heartbeat. Tell us about that.
Every heartbeat. In my heart, there is a cloud with a rhythmic sound of silence. Yes, a rhythmic sound of silence. Every heartbeat is very spiritual. It's about a spiritual calling from within, you know, and it's about finding myself, connecting with my true being, with my higher self, you know, and I didn't realize that it was my higher self at the time, because I'd been living in my lower self for so long. And when I discovered that I was on a journey of discovery, and it's an inner journey, not an external journey like I thought. Go out there, get a car, and get a house, and get a big bank account, get a girlfriend, get a this and that, you know, this is the solution. But now the solution is within, and the journey has to be within, so that the external reality can be pleasing and happy and healthy, you know, satisfying and so forth. And so, so that's what led me to write that song, you know, because it ends with, you know, I can sing, I can dance, I'm free, you know, holding hands with reality. What a fool I've been, you know, by not being myself, you know. So really all of these are, it's your life. You're just talking about your life. Your book is about your life. Yes. Who you are, who you have excelled to today. And it's very interesting, because it's very seldom that you have someone can get in tune with themselves on that level. It's a rarity. I mean, they're out there. Yes. But for you to identify and make that change, or make those steps to change, that's a big step. Absolutely. For you to identify wrong from right, and be able to make that transition from being in a negative place and move that forward by 360 degrees, because that's what we're talking about with you. Yes. You've gone 360, probably gone 360 degrees again. Yeah. Because 365, isn't it? Yes.
We're not 365 days in the year,
Yeah,
but 360 degrees.
in a circle.
That's correct.
Yes.
So you've turned your life around completely, and you're
By
here.
God's grace.
And the greatest thing is you're here to tell that story.
By God's grace.
You know, from what you're telling me and explaining to me, that journey sounds so heavy.
It was heavy. It was more than heavy. In fact, I went through suicidal thoughts. I said, but this is not me. But these thoughts was actually pulling me towards the train line, saying, jump when the train comes. And so I used to plaster my back. I was stuck my back to the wall on the platforms. I was fearful. I had to avoid bridges because, these urges about jumping the thoughts, about jumping into the Thames and getting all this over with and have peace. I was a tormented soul. But honesty, set me free.
Yeah.
Without the truth, without honesty, that's why I love TalksHonest, iLiveUK. Honesty is beautiful. That's what set me free. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Honesty is humbling.
Yes.
I had to get humble to get honest.
Yeah.
So that's why, our Creator caused me to lose all my money because I had loads of it. It caused me to lose all that to go and do things that I used to do and make loads of money.
Yeah.
It caused me to lose my family, friends, and lose my freedom time and time again, involving petty things. Caused me to experience all the things, not all the things, but many things I said that would never happen to me. I said, I'd never be homeless. Me?
Yeah.
It's impossible. I could never be broke. I know too many ways of making money. I've got too many contacts as well. Now I make a phone call, I'm making some money.
Yeah.
I've got to, you really and truly, you won't see me sitting on the park bench there drinking tenants like those.
So you've had a real reality check.
Yes, I ended up on the park bench drinking tenants. I ended up being homeless. I said I'd never pick up dog ends. I saw myself looking at myself, this is you picking up a dog end? You're at a crackhead because you don't want to buy cigarettes because you've only got enough money as far as you're concerned to buy crack, and you're not going to put any, you can't afford to jeopardize that because you've got to have your crack.
Tell me something. Based on what you've been through as a youth to today, you've taken many paths. You've experienced so many different things, good and bad.
Yes.
With regards to the bad, the addictions, the troubled souls that have crossed your paths.
Yes.
What would be your words or thoughts that you would like to share with people for them to not necessarily understand your journey, but understand what it takes to bring yourself out of that darkness into light?
Well, get honest with ourselves, and we've got to ask for help. Ask for help. Get honest. Pray. Also, apart from getting honest and praying, we've got to go into action. Go and do something for someone else instead of just thinking about me all the time. Even if you're going to do some voluntary work for a couple hours a week, it's better to be doing that than just sitting at home wallowing in self-pity and misery, or trying to dumb yourself down or anesthetize yourself in drugs and alcohol, or actually committing violent crimes against your own family or against members of the public, or becoming dishonest in some way. You find yourself stealing or lying to get this and get that and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because this thing here, this disease here is, it manifests itself in so many different forms.
Yes,
and,
it does.
So we must get honest. We must get honest and be open-minded and willing to do the right thing so the right thing happens.
Yeah.
And we've got to be of good courage. We've got to learn to let go of all the things that have been detrimental to our lives, destructive to ourselves and to others. Let them go. And we pray for the strength to let them go.
Yeah.
I used to hug the trees. I used to cry out to God, God help me, give me strength. And God didn't let me down. That's why I'm still here today.
Yeah.
So even when I didn't ask for help from people, I did ask for help from God and from the trees at a certain point in my life. Asking for help is number one. Do not keep secrets. We are as sick as our secrets. You know, secrets keep us sick. We may feel sort of what it means, smug. Oh, I've done this, I've done that, and no one knows about it. Oh, it just keeps us sick because we're lying to ourselves. We're not that.
Most
so
definitely.
We're in a world of insanity.
Yes.
We're living in the problem instead of the solution.
And we make ourselves part of the problem.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So those final thoughts are interesting for people who have possibly been down your journey one way or another. They can possibly identify that the struggle is there. Some may not be able to get out of that struggle.
Yes, they may not be able to get out of that struggle because they are the ones who are blocking themselves. They are hindering themselves.
Yes, indeed.
It's no other. They've got to love themselves. It's unfortunate that some of us are so traumatized and entrenched in that state of self-destruction that it becomes comfortable, that we no longer wish to come out of it.
Yeah.
I've met so many of them.
Denial most of the time.
Denial, absolutely. Denial, I say that's a gentle way of putting it.
Yes,
lie.
I'm being polite.
You're lying to yourself, being dishonest. Really and truly, it's very, very important that we get honest. Stop lying. Because when we lie, we stop loving ourselves.
Yeah.
God never lies. Only Satan lies. The father of lies is Satan, Beelzebub, Lucifer, whatever you want to call them, negative energies out there who delight in lies and self-destruction and destruction of creation and of everything is out there, trying to fill us up with all that nonsense energy which we've taken on ourselves, and it's manifest in the world as we see today.
So when we're talking about your journey, and for me, it's very important that people have to understand that your surrounding people can play a major part in your journey.
Yes, absolutely. I had to have my boundaries. Recovery is about having your boundaries. No more do I mix with these people. No more do I go to these places. No more do I, entertain, watch certain things, and or listen to certain things, and so on. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really important that you check yourself.
Yes, diligently. Constantly.
Yeah, make sure you know yourself.
Knowing thyself indeed. Be true to thyself means to know thyself. Yes, be true to thyself. And that was part of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, which they're the 12 steps to recovery, which requires us to be brutally honest about ourselves, the things that we hate to talk about, that we are afraid to hear people to reveal to others. These are the things that we need to get out, because that's what's keeping us sick.
So with regards to the charity now, I mean, you set up the charity. You're the CEO of the charity. What does your charity offer? What is it there for? I mean, obviously, the name kind of brings things into perspective. To me, it explains your journey, your experiences, and you're possibly helping those people who may be or have been in any part of that journey that you've taken.
Yes.
So I'll leave the floor to you to talk a bit about the charity.
Yes, From Rehab to Life Foundation. From Rehab to Life Foundation, brothers and sisters, is here to steer our communities, in particularly the young, to steer them away from drug and alcohol addiction, violence and crime, which involves allocating our resources and our strengths and our energies to going into prisons and hospitals and schools, colleges, universities, community centers, public venues, rehab centers and so on, and even on radio programs, TV programs, whatever, to get the message across. But not only just the message, we aspire to, and we feel an urgent need to link with teachers and parents, and so therefore we're very much into parenting classes and to helping parents to help themselves and to help their children, and so that the children are guided in a morally correct, in a more honest way, in a clean way, and also at the same time our charity is also there, to help others to see that mental health is something which is nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
It's I've been through mental illness. I'm glad to say that I'm a recovered drug addict, alcoholic, criminal, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, and also so we've been looking to hold some online workshops of late.
Okay.
We're looking exactly how to go about it because we thought the COVID would have passed and we could have held the workshops in a community space somewhere and so on, which I had already was on the verge to book some the other day, and then the government said we're back to six people.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, we can't go on like this. So we're looking to put on some online workshops and seminars and forums online.
Okay.
And also we are working in partnership with the homeless, feeding the homeless actually, because homelessness is a big part of drug and alcohol addiction, and criminals. A lot of people who leave prison have no home to go to. They're instantly homeless. A lot of people have been reduced to homelessness because of their habit.
Yeah.
The wife threw him out because she couldn't take his drunken ways no more, or she got thrown out because he couldn't take her drugged ways no more, or whatever.
Yeah.
And whatever way it happens, but a lot of them are out there. So we're reaching out to them even through that medium of the homeless charity, which is called Our Forgotten Neighbors.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there some social links that if anybody does need to reach out to them, that you can give?
Well, I didn't come prepared for all that.
That's okay.
I think I would
if you can just give the foundation's name and...
Yes, but if it's called Our Forgotten Neighbors Soup Kitchen. So if you could type that in, I'm sure you'll find something. But I haven't actually bought any information unless I'd have to dig into my phone and all that. I don't really think we've got enough time
That's
for
okay. That's all right. You've given them handle, so they can find it if they need to.
Yes.
Is there a contact number for you if someone does want to reach out who could be listening to the call?
Absolutely. Please call me on 07960 976-920. Tamara Gabriel, at your service. With love and humility and truth, that's the power that we're dealing with. Otherwise, we can't work. We won't go to work otherwise.
So with regards to the charity also, is there a team of you within the charity, or is it solely yourself? Are you looking for... helpers or volunteers?
Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you so much. You're such a great help, Miss Law. And this is Miss Law's show, Talking Honest, iLive Radio. Yes, Miss Law. Yes, we do. We need some trustees, actually. And also we need some directors. We have 3 directors and 3 trustees. Okay. However, we need, it looks like a few of them may be leaving at some time, anytime,
okay.
Not too far from now. So we're looking for some trustees and some directors.
So you're expanding.
Yes. as well as expanding and growing, yes. And also, we need volunteers. We need people who've got a bit of knowledge on IT and so on, help us to promote and market our charity.
So sorry to cut you. So where will you be located, obviously, or where is your base?
Yes, we're based at 42 Crouch Hill, N4 4BY. That's the Brickworks Community Center.
Okay, right.
42 Crouch Hill, N4 4BY.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the charity, we've talked about the album, we've talked about your book. Is there anything that you would like to say to the public, the audience? Doesn't necessarily have to be about your journey. It could be something inspirational. It could be something that you feel the people need to do to take them to another level.
Absolutely.
Or a better place.
Absolutely. We're all here for a purpose. You know, just like a car is made for a purpose, to transport it, and a cricket bat to hit cricket balls and so on. And we all have a purpose. And really and truly, so let us now fulfill our divine purpose here. You know, let's not fall short. Let's not, could I say, not belittle ourselves, but let us not reduce ourselves to what we're not. Let's be true to ourselves and let's express our true talents. You know, we know what that. If you're a road sweeper and you enjoy road sweeping it to the best of your ability, and you survive and you live on that pay, and you're quite happy to do so, then do it. Whatever it is, don't think that you're not good enough. Never give up. Never give up. And never think, oh, I'm too old for this. Well, you may be too old to run a 100-meter race with Usain Bolt, but even he is retired. But at least you could run a different kind of race, which is the race of life, to fulfill our potential, other things that we can do before it's too late. And these are the things that we enjoy doing, that we're enthusiastic about, that we love doing, whether we get paid for it or not. Let us do it, brothers and sisters. This is the higher vibration that we need, the vibration of light, love, healing, brothers and sisters. Things that brings a smile on our face, brings a smile on other people's faces, because it's so contagious. Let the love go around, brothers and sisters. It's all about love and forgiveness. Yes, and forgiveness is very huge. Remember that. If I cannot forgive myself, I can't forgive you. If I don't love myself, I cannot love you.
Most definitely.
And really and truly, it's forgiveness that set me free from the pain of the past, because we cannot escape the past without forgiving people in the past and places and myself as well, and what I
in order to move on.
In order to move on. There's no other way around it, brothers and sisters. So forgiveness is part of loving. They are one. Love and forgiveness is one.
I like that. That's really nice. I'm going to change up the vibe right now. It's very inspirational speaking to you. It's very interesting. For someone who has gone through, been through, going through what you are and have. I sit here today with you and I just see greatness on so many levels. You're spiritual. Like I said, when you came in, I vibed you straight away. We met before and we vibed each other.
Absolutely.
This man is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because he's here with me today. When we met some time ago, you touched me then. And having spoken to you today has just opened up things even more and different demographics. You know, I respect you. I honor you because you have taken us through many journeys of life that many people can relate to at any given time. And for that, the mere fact that you shared that with us today takes a lot to actually let those words roll out. Yes, you've expressed them in music. Yes, you've expressed them in a book. you're expressing them through the charity, but to sit down here and be sat there and having to discuss it over and over again, as you have done possibly, that says a lot about you.
Yeah.
That says a lot that you are now in tune with you. You know where you're going, you know where you've come from, and you know where that destination is.
Absolutely. How did you know? You must be on the same path as me.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
We're obviously spiritually in tune, so we get each other.
Yes, indeed.
I want to play this track. This is the track that you've spoken about, and it's the Martyr
For ganja.
for Ganja. I'm going to let this song play out, and we can talk over it if we need to, but I'll just let them hear the beginning of the track,
Yes.
and then we'll kick in and have our little conversation in the background.
Yes.
All right?
Okay.
Listen to some of this.
A martyr for ganja. Police stops and searches were a regular thing, with or without wearing bling. No matter what vehicle we were driving, on foot it was just the same. As we played the duck and diving game, with cloak and dagger and the gangster's swagger, we suffered persecution for the herb that heals the nation, keeping the peace in recreation, and gave us economic salvation from sus laws and police brutalization. They even took my collector's Mercedes away and said you'll never get it back again, even if I took them to court. And the judge ruled in my favor. They'd never give me back that car, 'cause they knew what I did for a living. It was their time to take, and mine for the giving. Things got even worse, more blasé, as police corruption grew. I was jailed for 18 months for possession of ganja you couldn't chew or see, weighing less than quarter gram in reality. Like so many brothers in that game, for the healing of the nation in Jah name, a martyr for ganja, I became.
So now,
Yes. Listen.
those lyrics. I've listened to that track so many times,
Wow.
and it's key to listen to the lyrics of that track, because that track tells you a story that so many people can relate to. Even though it's your personal journey, people can relate to that.
Absolutely. Yes, stop and search.
Yeah.
The story goes on today. There are demonstrations still going on about it, you know, with even with Black Lives Matter and all that sort of stuff. Yes, I saw a recent demonstration outside Tottenham Police Station about 4 weeks ago. Next stop and search business. So
It's still going on.
it still continues, which really and truly you know, I look at the stop and searches.
I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you, Tamara,
Yeah.
for being here today, sharing this moment with me. It has been an honour and a pleasure to have you here today. I want to wish everyone a blessed night, evening, afternoon, good night, and God bless.
And God bless you all, brothers and sisters. God bless iLive Radio.
Thank you for tuning in. Today's show with Tamara